dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? It's your boy Humble Dad back with another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. Got a great show for you this evening, just like we always do. And as you can see, I'm in a new scene, somewhere located in my house. But we're gonna get to keep the party started. That's why we're running a little bit late, but nevertheless, we're here, and we're gonna be talking about married versus single, which is best for you, considering the world that we live in right now is contemplating not either being married or they can't wait to get married. So we're going to talk about which one suits you best. I was listening to Harley Initiated with Philip Mitchell on there recently, and he was talking about that marriage is not necessarily the promised land, and it's okay to be single, and everybody's not meant for marriage. But he also did say that he believes that every man or most men should value marriage, especially if they do not have the gift of celibacy. So we're going to be talking about some different topics in relation to being married versus single. But before we get started, the question we're going to do or ask is, what was your favorite age growing up? And we're going to start with none other than the Hulk Hogan in these streets. Prototype in the building. What's up, my guy?
What's happening?
Chilling, bro. Good to see you.
Man, it's always a pleasure.
For sure. Hey, I'm gonna be up in the A, you know what I'm saying, in the weekend. So I don't know where about
What
you.
weekend?
This one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let me know. We come out with you.
Yeah, for sure.
You bringing the squad?
Yes, we deep. 7.
Okay. 7 of y'all? Yeah. Shoot, you didn't even put something on the grill?
Maybe. Well, this Saturday we gonna be doing something. We're only gonna be there for like Friday and Saturday, leaving.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But Friday may be possible, because Saturday, my best friend, him and his wife, doing a baby shower for their first baby.
Gotcha. Baby showers nowadays be dope.
Yeah. You got a question.
My favorite age, man, was my 30s.
Oh,
because I had money and I was doing everything I've ever dreamed. And that's a time where I was like, man, I ain't never thought I would live the life I'm living. So, I mean, I'm still in it now, but you know what I'm saying? But that's when I realized, like, dang, this life is crazy. I can't believe I made it this far.
That's what's up, especially when you talk about your past, for sure.
Well, especially without making it to like any pro ball. You know what I'm saying? Without making it to the league or anything like that.
Yeah.
In my 30s, I've lived a life that I just couldn't ever imagine. So yeah,
that's dope. 30s. Okay, I wasn't thinking about that one, but now that I remember all the pictures you've been posting. Yeah, that makes sense. For sure. Hey, welcome back to the stage. None other than the mother of them all, Ash, in the building.
Hello.
What's going on, lady? How are you?
Playing catch up as usual.
What class are you studying?
Right now, biology is kicking my butt. And my favorite age would be my teens because I had no responsibility but to go to school and work and pay for my little car.
Yeah.
Age. I didn't take it. So anybody out there that's a youngin, that's out there running around scot-free, take advantage while you don't have no kids, because when you get older and you have to deal with older people attitude when you try to learn something, it's very extremely difficult when you've been out the game for the longest.
Women are forever teens.
That's what I heard.
That is a lie. My kneecap says different. And the way my ankle was popping today while I was driving.
Talking about your brain.
That is a lie. That is a
I'm
lot.
saying that's why you can't learn the way you used to. That's what he's trying to
That
say.
is a lot. I can't even remember nothing. You know how bad it was when I was in class last week and I'm sitting there like this because I would feel good and I'm trying to act as if I can. Man, please. Whatever. We're not, because I'm forgetting when I go downstairs what I'm going down here for. I went down, what was it, one of the aisles in Walmart today at least 3 times trying to find some Arizona tea. And they don't even have it. Don't even have it, period.
It ain't like you could have asked somebody.
Baby, that lady had a whole attitude, and she wasn't not finna run over my toes because I just had got off work. No, you don't. Here you go. You learn asking Walmart employees.
Didn't I coach you when you was a teen? When you on my team as a teen?
Yeah, that's why I said I'll
Oh,
go
yeah,
back
that
to
was
that.
bad too.
I didn't have that bad of an attitude because I
Not
was
you,
I
I
was
said y'all were bad.
No, you know what? You keep saying that you were bad back then, but I don't really take it as bad. I would say stern.
Okay.
You know, because you're dealing with age groups from, like I said, 17, 18 to all the way up to grown. I mean, you had some, my cousin was even working there at the time, and she was way older than me. So, I mean, like, it's hard to say that you could be one way, but you had to find a balance, and I don't consider it to be mean.
That's a bit. I appreciate that. Hey, welcome to the stage. We got a newcomer in the building. He got his own platform doing what he does, teaching Bible study. You know what I'm saying? My homie, Charleston, in the building. You ready? You got your script together, Charleston?
Script? Oh man, no script, man. I
No.
learned from the humble dad. Just be humble about it. Come from the heart, right?
That's what's up. What you got in the question? What's your favorite age of growing up? So what was your favorite age?
You know what? Not to be like super deep or philosophical or anything like that, but my favorite age is probably the age that I'm at right now. And the reason why I say that is because I have the most wisdom in life right now because of everything that I've been through up to this point. Now I'm 43 years old, and I could easily say, like, when I was younger, I was stronger, faster, didn't hurt to get out of bed in the morning, stuff like that. So it's tempting, you know what I'm saying, to say like, oh, when I was this age or that age, life was better. But I can definitely say that I appreciate all the life experiences, good and bad, and I would, I'm grateful to be right where I'm at right now.
That's a really good political answer right there.
Get out of here, man. Political? Seriously, man? You know me better than that.
I do. I do. Appreciate you for being here, homie.
Yo.
Absolutely. Hey, we're going to welcome to the stage none other than the Barry White in these streets, homie and friend, lost in translation. What it is, bro.
Come on inside and get yourself something cool to drink.
Hey, man. What's happening?
Chilling, man. Good to have you back, bro.
Yeah, man. It's good to be back, man. It's good to be back.
Yeah. What you got on the question?
My favorite time was preteens, man, right before 10 years old.
And
I'm going to tell you why. Everybody who I love and respect was still alive. All my great-grandparents, parents, that type of thing. And I was always able to hang around them and get wisdom. You really didn't have to have life figured out. You still hang around all your cousins or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is before the internet. So if you really wanted to go to see the world, you'd have to get on your bike and you have to go explore. It's one of those things nobody could tell you, nobody could show you. And for you to get out and to satisfy that curiosity itch is to go out and just go see it, man. Go see the world, Now, this day and age, we got the internet where people just show you. It kind of robs you of wanting to go out and see the world. But when you were about 10 years old, the world was still new. And my thing is you wanted to get out. It was something about that drive that made you want to go out and see the frontier. You know what I mean? And to wonder what's out there that's new. So if I had to pin it down, I would probably say my preteens, man, was probably the best time. I mean, you had Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays, when people were still hanging around each other, family was still tight. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Yeah. I think that was some of the best time.
That's what's up. For me, I had to think about it because there are different phases, right, that I enjoyed about each age. But the one that jumps out to me the most was when I started being in this Christian rap group called Reading Army. And that was probably around when I was 27, 20, and I think it might be 28 or something like that. And we got to meet a lot of different people, doing their ministry, people that are pretty famous now before they really, really blew up. And we did music, we did ministry. I was heavy into my word. I was a youth pastor, and it was just like everything seemed to be in place. And then, before the storm hit and having to utilize the things that I was learning, right? And so, like, for example, I remember meeting Lecrae for the first time, and he was a fan of ours. You know what I'm saying? So that was pretty dope. Or the time John P. Key called us and told us that he was a fan of our work, and so like those moments are very dope to me as far as that age. I think that was like 27, 30 to 30. And then now, like I'm being able to figure out things like when you say about this age now, the wisdom that I now have, and then being able to navigate life. I'm not as stressed out as I used to be. Like I know how to figure these things out, knowing that there are going to be hills and valleys, and then I got to be able to manage both. You know what I'm saying? So I that's why I said both of them. But that one when we was doing a lot of shows and traveling, that was pretty dope experience. And I can't forget about India, but that's another experience in itself. Hey, we're gonna talk about married versus single, which is better for you, and we're trying to provide some type of solutions and helpful, productive tips, if you will, to people that are listening. And so I'm gonna look at. Do y'all remember Rock, the TV show? Ash might be a little too young, but you know what I'm saying.
Good lie.
Okay, my bad. I was being funny.
Love the dumpster man. Love the hey, please don't do.
So they the dumpster man.
I don't
Okay.
care. Shoot,
Okay.
here you go. They have to have a CDL to drive those trucks. And hey, I thought about going over there.
I'm sure you need. All right, but I got a clip. I'm gonna see if y'all remember this clip, and I want you to give me a take on the man and the woman in the video.
I married you, for richer or for poor. I wasn't just saying words, I meant those things. I knew what I was getting into, and I still married you.
Why?
I guess it's got something to do with the fact that I love you, fool. You're all I want or need in this world. Can't you get that through that beautiful, thick head of yours?
You want nice things and an easier life and...
Well, sure I do. I mean, I'm human, but I want those things with you.
I can't give them to you, Eleanor.
Right now. But I got faith in you, baby. I'm willing to wait.
All right. Hey, Ash, I want to hear what you got to say. Who you want to go for? Talk about the woman or the man?
I'll talk about both. I'll talk about both. I'm very diverse. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, see, that type of stuff right there is not taught no more to us. That just went out the way, because what she was saying was, I'm willing to wait till you get there. And he's not looking at it like that. He's like, I can't give you the now. Social media wasn't big back then, but of course, when you go out and you see others on dates and they driving nicer cars, or you see somebody else getting some accolades or some material things that you think that you should be providing. But the thing is, if you know you can't do that right now, why rush it? Because it may not be as satisfying to get it right now. Because I had a rule before we moved here. I was like, I'm not buying any type of designers in an apartment. I said, when I get the house, then I'll do my stack. Because that's basically what she's saying. We're getting there, but we're just not getting there in your time. And you need to allow yourself that timing to get there. And that's what a lot of us don't understand, especially the generation after me. You want the accolades, the designers, and all that without the work. You just want it now, because it's more worth it when you actually got somebody to work with you and allow you to develop and sharpen your skills. And we can go with Charlton. He ready over there.
Look like he ready.
So I like your response, Ash. I'm definitely not I'm in agreement with it. You know, I do think that where we get our paradigm for marriage, you know, is probably important, whether we're getting it from the internet, whether we're getting it from TV, and what generation it was. You know, are we looking at a generation that looked at the Cosby Show, or are we getting a generation that's looking at something more modern, what we see today? My concern is exactly what Ash said, is the appetite, you know, because I do feel like this generation that's out today, they want it all. There is no compromise. There is no settling, you know. And I thought what was interesting, what the wife said, is she said, "I'll wait for you to get it," you know. And whereas most households today are built on two incomes, and the expectation is that whatever we're acquiring takes two incomes to accomplish, you know. Whatever type of house we're living in, it takes two incomes. The type of cars that you drive, likely it takes two incomes. The type of vacations and the lifestyle, it is absorbent. And that to me is the challenge, you know. And a lot of that has to do with you have to know who you're married to. You know, you have to know what type of wife you have. You have to know what type of husband you have, you know. And when you stepped into this marriage, were they the type of person that you knew that you could make happy? Like that's you got to know that from jump, you know. And that's not going to change over the course of a marriage. So I really do think like proper expectation, communication is really key, you know, and laying the groundwork in the beginning is key, you know, to having success down the road.
That's what's up. Who you got going next?
I want to hear Lost in Translation.
Oh, let's go.
Thank you, sir. I think there's two things that we need to look at in this particular situation. And I think it's one of those things that we don't always look at a lot in relationship. It's faith and desire. She understood that Rock had the desire to give her those things, you know? And she also displayed to him, she said, "I have faith in you." And sometimes I think that's all that a man needs, especially when he doesn't have faith in himself at that particular moment in time. She basically gave him permission to dream and to pursue without having to perform and provide at that particular moment in time. She said, "Look, I understand that you have the desire, you know, but I'm here to tell you, you might not be able to do it now, but I have faith in you. That's the reason why I chose you." And if you paid attention to Rock, it was like, he was like, "You could have went anywhere. You could have did anything with anybody else. Why me?" And then she just basically let him know, reassured him that you picked the right somebody. You know what I mean? And I picked the right somebody, and I have faith in you. So it's the faith and the desire in relationships that I think a lot of people are missing in today's relationships. So I think that was a brilliant display of faith and desire in their particular marriage in this clip. I'm going to go with Prototype next.
Let's get
it. My opinion on the clip. She loved Rock for Rock. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he could have been anybody. You know what I mean? Good or bad. I mean, he was a garbage man, but I think she was just happy with the man he was. But she probably came from a two-parent home. I feel like she got a good background. I mean, that was one of my shows back in the day. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the last good shows that really had men at a certain standard. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't a klutz or a clown or anything. He was serious. You know what I'm saying? I love that about the show and how she supported him. You know what I'm saying? I just think, you know, what they were trying to, you know, relay is that true love is really something. I mean, I don't. Yeah, it is. We could go into if it really exists or not. But as far as the show's concerned, it would give a man hope, you know, to go find some real love. You know what I mean? So, it's hard to believe though. I mean, I've seen stuff like that, but
you've seen stuff like what they just displayed, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that kind of, affection for a husband. You know what I mean? Um, there are some women like that, but they're few and far between, I guess.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. Are you finished? I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, I'm finished.
Yeah, very well stated. What I saw from both perspectives was a man that needed to hear his wife supported him where he was. I saw an individual that was also appreciative that she would stay, even though he couldn't give her what she would want, at that time. She's like, I want those things, but I want them with you, as Prototype said. Like she valued the relationship with him, and I would venture to say it was more about his character because if you watch the show, he displayed a lot of character and integrity, and I think that is one of the things that is missing from this dating pool that we have. And then for her to, say, you know what, I want to be with you. She was also saying that I believe in you so much that I believe that I can help you get there, even if it's just a matter of telling you that I think that you can get there. Even if it's not giving him, referrals or it's doing his resumes or anything, but her support was in the words that she gave. The word says that the life and death is in the power of the tongue, and she spoke life into him. And I think that if women, if we just talking about women in this particular part, if women could see and hear that they have the power to strengthen a man or break a man down. And then on the flip side, men have the same power as well, right? And so that in this display between husband and wife, they see that they needed one another. And so that I think that he's going to do whatever he can to do for her because of the support that she gave him. Anybody have anything to add before we transition?
I did.
Let's
And
get
let me see if I can get out because the thought left and then it came back and left again.
You should have
But
wrote.
as you seen, as in the way she was talking to him, how it made him feel secure. See, that's the thing about us. We don't know how to talk to our men to make them feel secure because everybody want to build, but don't nobody know how to talk to you in order to get you to build. That's why women always say, "Oh, he left me, but got over there and did this and that for her." And they're living better because it was a requirement. He understood the assignment. If you don't give him what's required, you're just going with the flow and you don't have no direction. He don't have no direction. What do you think is going to happen? But if he get with somebody else that says, "Hey, we need to do this, be a little stable and learn how to use kind words. Oh, what is it? Words that work," you would get a different type of reaction.
That's really good. The way that you communicate with people is very important. And I think one of the things that in the red pill community that I disagree with, I think mainly because of my faith and who I rock with, I think tone does matter. Because we know that women are a weaker vessel. We know that and they operate based on words. You know what I'm saying? Like a guy can give a woman a compliment and another guy be like, why did that do anything for her? You know what I'm saying? That's what we're thinking. Like all he said was she was beautiful and she wilded out, right? But if at the same time, what she did was her tone and her disposition, right? She even not necessarily, I guess, lowered herself, if you will. Like her posture was on the couch, leaning forward towards him, bringing him to, and which made him come back to her. Then she rubbed his head as another part of intimacy that was in that particular display. So it was a whole bunch of her words, her let's see, her tone, her words, and her mannerisms all were aligned together, as opposed to where there could be it said with body language, where there could have been a miscommunication. There was no way for him to miscommunicate her love for him. And I think that that is a part that is missing in some regard to some relationships and even some marriages. That's just my thoughts, though. And so, as we put this together, I wanted to play that clip first because I wanted to kind of give the ideas of what a wife looks like, and also what a husband looks like, even when there are, like, every man is not going to always be confident, right? Not going to always be confident. There are going to be days where we don't feel as masculine, I guess, if you will, as other days, and we need that type of woman to come alongside us. And so I was reaching down and trying to find some things, some questions to ask. I got a couple different ones, but I want to start with this one. What does the Bible say about the purpose of marriage? And I got some scriptures. If you want to go to them, you don't have to. That's up to you. One is Genesis 2:24, and the other one is Ephesians 5:22-33. What does the Bible say about the purpose of marriage? Y'all don't have to stand for no readings or nothing like that. I thought that was pretty interesting. Our pastor did that for the first time. He must have seen that somewhere on TV. You know what I'm saying? Told us to stand for the Bible reading. Took us back in the day, bro. All right. Anybody got that one? Genesis 2:24. Ooh, that's that good one. All right, I got you. It says, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. They shall become one flesh. And we're gonna start with Prototype on that one. What's your thoughts on what the Bible says about the purpose of marriage?
Let's be clear, man. I see marriage only good for not going to hell because you want to have sex. I'm not too clear about the rest of it. Just based off of what I see, it doesn't benefit a lot of people as they think they should, other than prevention from going to hell because you got desires to, bust one out. So I was hoping you went with the good pastor first. You know what I'm saying?
Holy Spirit told me to go somewhere else, and that's what I did.
Yeah, the Holy Spirit is telling me to tell you the truth about how I feel about the word and marriage and sex, right? So yeah, you only get married because I didn't want to go to hell. But yeah,
you think that's what other people would you recommend that to everybody else? Hey, listen, man, just go ahead and get married so you can
not go to hell. Yeah, for sure. Because telling them you're going to get all these other things that come with marriage, they're not guaranteed to get that. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of men aren't getting what they feel they're supposed to be getting out of marriage. Yeah. So it's only a warranty or an insurance policy to not go to hell for having some desires.
I always appreciate your transparency. Who you want the pastor to go next?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go, Charleston.
Wow. No, I appreciate the transparency too. I almost wanted to go a whole completely different direction with that, because what was that in 1 Corinthians 7 when Paul said it's better to marry than to burn?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Wow.
Text.
If we were going to have a conversation about that text, I would go the route that Paul thought that Jesus was going to come back a lot sooner than we think, because Paul wrote 1 Corinthians 7 early in his ministry. At the time when he was going around Asia Minor doing ministry, and he was telling everybody to be single. If you go back and you read that, he was like, if you're divorced, stay single. If your spouse died, stay single. He was telling everybody stay single. And the only reason why he was telling people to marry, he's like, if by chance you can't hold out. But Paul said, I wish that all men be as I. Why? He says, because Jesus is coming back. Like, what's the point in getting married if Jesus is coming back? But then by the time you get to Ephesians 5, that is one of his prison epistles. Paul's in Rome and he's getting ready to die. So when you read Ephesians 5, you get a more robust picture of marriage. And all of a sudden he starts saying, like, husbands die, as Christ died for the church, and, wives submit to your husbands. And he's painting a more robust picture. Why? Because he's understanding that scripture is going to have to, he's not thinking that his letter is going to be scripture, but he's understanding that the church is going to have to live beyond himself. And he's given a more robust picture. That's why I really do like the Ephesians 5 text versus 1 Corinthians 7. But So wow. Okay. So your question is, what is the purpose of marriage?
Yeah.
Is that your question?
According to the Bible, yes.
So I would, if I can cheat, can I cheat?
Yes.
I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to go to Genesis 1. In Genesis 1, he gave some instructions that Adam and Eve and that all mankind would fulfill. Let's look at this. 28. Is it 28? Let's do 26. It says, and God said, let us make man in our image. Oh, yes, here it is. Genesis 1 and 26. Let us make man in our image, in our likeness. Let him have dominion over the fish in the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over every creeping thing over the earth. So God created man. So that's the first purpose of man, and is to have dominion. Then in verse 28, it says, let him be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it. So when you talk about the purpose of marriage, it's so that he can have dominion, so that he can be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. The purpose of, if you're going to go back to the purpose of marriage, you got to go back to the purpose of mankind, and that is to have dominion over the earth. But we can't dominate what we don't exist in. So just like God had given seed protocol to every living creature, to every living thing, whether it was plant, whether it was animal, whether it was a sea animal, God had to create Eve so that man could reproduce and that he could have dominion. Now, I believe that dominion that mankind has over earth, he does have with all of mankind. That includes man and women. That is the complete picture of dominion. But I believe that God had given man a responsibility, get this, to have dominion over God's creation. And it's God's purpose. Why? Because God put his image in man. Man is the only creation that God put his image and his likeness in. So God wanted the earth, to reflect him. And the only way that the earth could do that is by him reproducing himself and by him dominating and operating in earth according to the will of God. That's what I believe. Now, I do have a question for Proto, but I want to save it and give everybody else a chance to give their responses.
Dialogue. You can ask.
So, Proto, I want to ask you, outside of the Bible, do you see a purpose for marriage? And if so, why?
No. I've been lucky enough to be a guy that can fill the role with pretty easily through my life. So, I haven't gotten to a point where one is mandatory for me. It could, like, oh, you're busy, I can just call somebody else type situation. So, like I said, if it wasn't for biblical reasons, then you know what I'm saying, I would have a light skin, a dark skin, a tall one, a short one. You know what I'm saying? But whatever meal I decided to have that week is how I would function. But
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So if somebody wasn't a Christian and they would approach you about the concept of marriage, would you push them towards marriage? Because outside of
yeah, because I don't want you to go to hell. Just it ain't worth going to hell for. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't like it's really it's a necessity, but it ain't like worth going to hell for. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I just, like I said, for me, it was just a matter of I didn't want to be lusting or masturbating or you know what I'm saying, or just. I didn't mind rotating them out. It was just like I said, I didn't want to go to hell for it. So, but yes, I mean, it depends. Like, so there's things that we're supposed to get with marriage, and that the idea of marriage is great. You know what I'm saying? Having a partner that can help, fulfill, you can have banter with, or help you navigate life with, and Y'all can really join in a bond. But like I said, most men don't get that, and it takes so much work to get that on the opposite end. You know what I'm saying? It's just not worth the trouble for real.
Interesting. Okay.
Because most men don't want to step into that leadership role. Like that's a hassle for a lot of men. Like a lot of dudes are just like, I'll handle myself, you handle you. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of men don't want to be leaders. You know what I mean? That kind of burden, that kind of work, don't nobody want to do that, you know. And you got to really come outside of yourself if that's not who you genuinely are. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men we're on these pods, right? You hear it all the time. People blaming women for this and blaming women for that. It's those men that don't want to step into the leadership role. And well, what about her? And what about this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Shouldn't she be? Or what kind of moral should she have? And I'm just like, y'all, you know, you're missing the point. I see you don't want to be the leader. So if you don't want to be the leader and can't handle it, then I wouldn't recommend. It depends on who I'm talking to. Now, if I see a guy who can manage a family and manage a life and have a plan for his woman and family, yeah, bro, you need to get married, XYZ. You know what I'm saying? But another thing, the reason that I got married is, you know, because married men had always made more money. You know what I'm saying? Like successful men made money, and they were married. Successful men were married, and it kept you out of trouble. Like it keeps you out the way. You know what I'm saying? Of
that's the
unnecessary
argument that I would
harm.
make.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so even in being able to trade them out, right? All these different personalities. This one could be crazy. This one could have a police at your door. This one could have another guy at your door. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or this one you don't trust. They could be burning. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's
right.
There's a lot of different fluctuations there as well. You know what I'm saying? But the stability in your finances is a clear idea. You know, clear sign of marriage. And like I said, not burning you know what I mean? Not burning for some desires.
Yeah.
Sound like you walk yourself into saying that there are more benefits to it than just.
But everybody don't get that.
Listen. I'm just saying what you said, bro. I'm just
going. But I'm saying like if you work for that, then you can get it. But everybody don't get it, and everybody don't want to work to that or understand that they have to step outside and be that bigger man to do it. You know what I mean? Like Moses for he's like, I can't even speak right. You want me to go do what?
Yeah.
Like, why can't you get somebody else to talk to the people? I don't speak that clearly. I got to step outside of myself to do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same kind of deal.
I totally understand the point. I'm just saying, like, when Charleston asked you the question, and Lawson can chime in here in a moment, that his first question was, would you recommended marriage to a guy? And you said yes, because one of the things is that I don't want him to go to hell, which is a really good thought process, because I started thinking about how you could evangelize using that particular mantra walking around, you know, the streets of America, right? But then you came up with two others that were not necessarily connected to the gospel, which were you would have structure and financial stability, and you would have a ease of mind, really just trying to learn and deal with one woman. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, you walk yourself into that. Lost, what you think, bro?
You know what? Just so you know, I'm not cheating. Pastor, I actually just so happen to have Genesis 1:26 already pulled up, but it's from a different perspective than what you were talking about earlier. The definition of what marriage is, I think, is to get to know oneself outside of oneself. In the beginning, it says that God created man in his image. And if we think about it, when God made man, he made man and woman one flesh. And at some point, he separated them. Now, if you think about it, men and women live two separately different lives based upon the pressures of how the world shapes and views us. You see what I'm saying? And I think about what William Shakespeare said a long time ago. He said, to thy own self, be true. Now, the purpose of getting married is to understand yourself and to understand the other person's self and to understand and to come together to learn how to work together. Think about it. There are plenty of times that there are many men in this world who wanted to become gods, but there was only one God who became man. And I think that speaks to the heart of what God really wanted us to do. And for him to step down out of eternity, wrap himself in iniquity, and to be born into sin, to experience what we experience, is definitely a reflection of the image that he had for us. Think about it. If God is a creator, he gave us the ability to create. If God is a forgiver, he gave us the ability to forgive. If God is a merciful God, then he gave us the ability to be merciful. So if I had to think about it, God gave us an opportunity to be just like him, except here on earth. And I think as we get married and we learn from each other and experience each other's life from different perspectives, it allows us to work better and to subdue the earth and to also flourish and multiply in the way that God sees fit, to wrap each other up in love and to spread love. But in order for us to do that, we have to understand ourselves from the perspectives of others, and also to be unselfish enough to stop thinking about yourself and to understand what somebody else is going through. But I think that is the masterful job of what marriage is. Think about it. When Jesus sacrificed himself, that was for the church and for those who accepted him as the Lord and Savior. And I think that great is he that lays down his life for a friend. It's one of those things that you have to walk through to experience. And it is a sacrifice very few people get to understand. But in order for you to get there, there has to be some type of meeting of the mind. There also have to be some type of meeting of the heart. And in order to do that, you have to spend an inordinate amount of time with that person. That's the reason why God spent a lot of time developing the church to present himself to him, because he wanted to be able to give love. You see what I'm saying? And also he wanted to shape us in a way that we can actually receive love. So if we learn how to give love and we learn how to receive love, then we do as God and we become love. And I think that is the ultimate reason for marriage.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Ash, what you got?
Absolutely nothing.
Are you speaking in tongues?
No, I was not. The tongue said God absolutely nothing. That's what it said.
My bad.
Y'all pretty much covered. Y'all pretty much covered everything. Only thing I got is come as one. People have to stop operating as individuals and start being one. And a lot of times, as y'all all have stated, that people don't do that. Everybody want to come to a marriage as a single and are still operating, don't understand why they bumping heads, why they can't get it together financially, spiritually. Everybody's on different pages, reading the same book, but at a different rate of speed, and it's not going nowhere. So that's all I got. That's my little take.
Well, that's a good take. If you read this, I read the scripture for Ephesians 5. I mean, it was interesting as Charleston was speaking about how Paul, I never even thought about that Paul was writing from a position of thinking God was going to be coming back. So why even worried about getting married? And then you get into Ephesians 5 and he's given the instructions of how it should go. And so I would say Ephesians 5:22, this is what it says: wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. This is 25. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church, without stain or wrinkle or any other blemish, but holy and blameless. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives There's their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one ever hated their own body, but they feed and care for the body, just as Christ does the church, for we are members of that body, right? So then it goes into the Old Testament. For this reason, a man will leave a mother and unite with his wife. So the purpose in which marriage is to show the glory of God, right? In the communicate or the illustration of how God is to man and man is to I'll say it like this: how Jesus was to the church, right? There, he says that he is the bride, or that the church is the bride, and he is the bridegroom, and how that relationship works. If you look throughout the course of the scripture, there's always an identification or personification of Christ and the church being aligned in some regard. If you look at what he was referring to, he was trying to show you, look, the way that this should work as a marriage. It should work in the position as the man is in charge, and he is given direction. He has a plan. He has laid it out for the woman to know what it is, and then she comes alongside and helps him with that particular plan. So if you look at it from the area of Jesus and the church, Jesus comes and shows the example. He communicates it to his disciples, which would be also considered the church. They spread the message, which is what his plan was, and also to help them to disciple others and also build a church. If you look at Acts 2, that's what the transition of the first church took place, right? And so what the marriage is supposed to identify and supposed to bring to light is, listen, husband, you got to be the head just like Christ is the head. You need to be, as Proto, even the Bible says it, but Proto talks about this too, how you need to be teaching your wife and helping her to see what she can be doing to help you. But at the same time, you got to be an example so that she can be able to know how to follow you in that same regard. So, and then all of this works together to show the glory of God, to show that he is who he says he is, because there's no way that how women are and how men are, that they can function productively together without there being the Holy Spirit. Men and women on the panel know this. Got to, because that's the challenge that's going on right now in most of the relationships that are taking place, and most of the marriages that are taking place. Even if it's outside of what's interesting is that even a religion outside of Christianity really follows the tenets of the Bible as it relates to how marriage should work. Whether it's an atheist, so to speak, whether it's a Buddhist, whether it's Islam, they all operate from the position of man is in charge, and the wife should come underneath that, and also be submissive to the husband. And so all of that comes together to say what the purpose of marriage is. It's a combination of things. I believe, from what I'm seeing, is that God wanted Adam to have Eve to be able to come together and to be able to replenish the earth in multiple ways. One of those ways was to have children come on the earth, but he also wanted to implant in them his word as well, right? And then wanted the whole world to be able to see who he is in human form, and for everybody to carry out that throughout the course of life. And that's what Lost was communicating, right? And so what has failed, man, this is dope. So what the failure is that people do not operate from the position of what the creator said about what he designed, which is marriage. Everybody, I don't know who said it. Somebody said everybody wants to be an independent. I think it was Ash. Everybody wants to be an independent, right? And God is not, himself is not even independent. You know what I'm saying? It's a triune God. And so I think that is what's missing. For people to know the purpose, and the way you know the purpose is to go to the person or the being that created and established what we call marriage. Anybody want to say something? Listen, that was dope. Anybody got something before I move, man? I don't even know how to get from here to there, but nevertheless, I will try. Okay. I was going to ask this question first, but I'm going to ask it now. Do people delay marriage for the right reasons, or is it fear or societal pressure? Right? Do they delay marriage for the right reasons? Because people are talking about why they're not getting married. Is it a fear, or is it that what society says about it? So we'll start with Lost in Translation. What you got?
I think it's more fear, and it's not so much as the fear of the other person; it's the fear of themselves. Are they good enough? Those type of things, because that's a question only you can answer. We can always say that the other person wasn't good enough, or they didn't exactly give me what I wanted or what I needed. But at the end of the day, if we're being truthful, most people are fearing that they're not adequate enough. And I think they use other things outside of themselves as an excuse not to get married. They'll say that person wasn't the perfect person, or that person is living a lifestyle that's not conducive to what I believe in, or they may not make enough money, or that person is not beautiful enough. And if we really think about it, it really has nothing to do with the other person. It's whether or not that person feels as if they're prepared. Because if you think about it, those who are really prepared, they learn how to make it work. You know what I mean? All they're just looking for somebody is to work with them, and then they proceed. And that's the main reason why you see some people who get married in less than 7 days, and they've been married for years. And you got some people who've been with somebody for 10 years, and they still don't know who the person they're with. But 9 times out of 10, this usually has nothing to do with the other person. It's mostly how they feel about themselves, or whether or not they're themselves are prepared for the journey of marriage. I'm going to go with Charleston next.
Yeah, I agree with Lost. I do feel like fear is playing into it. I believe that there's different kinds of fear, though. Some fear can be reverential fear. Some people can be fearful out of respect for the sanctity of marriage. Now, I would say that there's a difference between delaying marriage and delaying indefinitely. And I do believe that there are some people out there that delay marriage indefinitely, but they operate under the guise that, like, oh, I'm going to get married one day, or I'm just dating around trying to find the right person, when really at the end of the day, they're just sticking and moving. And they're using marriage as a card, what I'm saying, to jump in and out of relationships. And I believe that those type of people are readily identifiable. I think most men can recognize that. And most men, it's like, that dude has no intention of marrying you. He's just using the idea of marriage to string you along. That's a challenge. But I've seen on the other side people delay marriage for different reasons, some good, some bad. I've seen some people delay marriage because they're just like, look, I haven't sold all my wild oats yet. I want to get it out of my system, as if that's even a reality. They want to think that maybe when I get older, I'll be more mature and more settled. Some people would delay for financial reasons. I think a lot of people delay for financial reasons these days. I keep bringing that up a lot. I feel like people want to be at a certain place in life, which I think really honestly is, I feel like that's a misnomer when it comes to marriage. I think delaying for financial reasons, and some people may not agree with me, but the reality is that, number one, you want somebody that you can grow with at the end of the day. If you get married to somebody and you've already arrived, you are going to have a defense mechanism set up, because you're not going to trust them. You're going to be like, are they here for me, or are they here for what I've already built? And like, there's something just really romantic about being with somebody who was at a certain place and you were there to support them. Now you've got that history built up with them, but we've got, as we were saying earlier, these high lofty expectations as far as materialism that I really feel plays into marriage. And I can honestly see pros and cons on both. When people tell me that they want to delay, if they want to delay for the right reasons, because they're trying to wait to get some things in order, I just tell them, don't delay too long, because the Bible says that hope deferred makes the heart sick, and you start developing some real bad tendencies, if you put it off too long. And I think that there's something kind of nice about when you get married real young, and then you guys don't really have nothing, and you sleeping on the floor together. And I'm joking, but it's just like, you get to build your life together. It's a struggle. It is a struggle, and it comes with, it comes with its set of challenges. So I think that there's pros and cons to both. But I do see the delay, and overall, I think it's a fear. You know, whether it's reverential or nefarious in nature, there's something going on somewhere in between.
That's what's up. Who you got going next, sir?
I'm gonna let Miss Ash go next because she's sitting there writing, and she seemed like she's trying to dodge the conversation. Come on in this conversation, sweetheart.
I'm not finished with my thought. My thought is incomplete. And I wasn't trying to dodge the conversation. This is that Carl Center training going on right now. For me, it's what you and Laws both have said, which is the fear, especially what Laws said, is the fear of not allowing yourself to let go of who you are to just love that other person. You start projecting your fears, your insecurity on that person, making that person out to be the bad guy. And then it's also, of course, what you said, you know, they don't know where they're going. You know what I'm saying? They build up this list. Oh, well, I don't, what was it? What was it in that movie? This checklist is this fictitious, you know, I think everything is fictitious now because everybody got a set of rules of trying to get married, but ain't going nowhere. Everybody going, what Usher say? Nowhere fast. Nowhere fast. Everybody's just at the starting line trying to figure out how to start. Well, is the shoes tied? Oh, is my socks on? Can they see the socks? Can they show the brand? You know, it's that kind of rigmarole what we got going on. And for me, my reasons is I'm not ready because that requires a different type of, as Law say, sharpened skills that I have been working on nor perfecting. And that's why I would say when I come on here, why invite somebody into some chaos when they don't deserve that? Because a lot of times we have a whole bunch of chaos mentally that we haven't dealt with, and we ain't trying to. We're just trying to go to the next person because they're going to give me all those dopamines of feeling good, feeling great, when actually that person comes with a whole different type of genre. You don't even know what they own. And then once we get to it, oh, it didn't work out. He was a liar, cheater. He had me financial stress. But you would have known that if you just took the time. And that's a lot of time people don't want to take the time. Like nobody want to go through the book and actually read it. What was it? Cliff notes. Everybody want the cliff notes and not actually go through and read and get what the actual information that they need, because we can all read the same thing as y'all have proven tonight and interpret it and go a different way with it, because that's not your perspective. But we all can still have a respectful conversation and get on the same page and say, hey, we going in the same direction, but your path just a little gruntier than mine. Mine, of course, is dusty and unclean because I ain't trying to clean off no path. But I'm just saying, that's just what it is. It's like we still can agree. And with my generation and the people after me, we don't know how to do that no more. As you can see, it's a lot of emotional conversation. Everybody letting their emotions drive their relationship, and it can drive it straight into the ground, or it can drive it into a healthy place. But the thing is, the healthy place is the scary place. And for me, is people don't want to work to get to the healthy place. They, like we said, they want that right now fix, that right now, this is good, this is great. But everybody don't understand that. If you really look at your grandparents and your mom and them, if they married, every day ain't a good day. Somebody done been mad somewhere during the day. And we don't understand that, because it's like, I'm here. I'm supposed to make you happy. Do you not see this face? Do you not see this beat, this wig? Do you not see what I just did? Look at these nails, you know. But that's not what it is, because if I'm having a bad day, I need you to actually be able to come into my world and pull me out of it. And see, that's that togetherness people don't understand, because they don't see it, because it's always behind closed doors. And I feel like if the younger generation would be, if we were able to have an actual conversation with our elders about marriage in that ugly aspect, we all would have a different view on it, because every day is not going to be a good day. Everybody going to have an ugly day. Everybody done roll their eyes and say, I wish this mother was gone somewhere, you know. But we don't talk about that. We talk about the financial stability. The man need to have this, he need to have that. Go get your education, then find your man. Okay, but you're not telling me what to do once to get the man. You're not telling me how to come at the man when he having a bad day. You're not telling me how to keep these kids away from the man, to let that man settle. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of things that I think we could take to the next level if we learn how to have an open communication with people instead of being guarded with information. I always call it gatekeeping. Like, if you see me doing something wrong, tell me how to fix it. It's okay, because some conversations need to be had, but like you said earlier, Humble Dad, it's the tone. We don't know how to talk to each other because we feel like you're coming from my spot. It's just, it's a whole lot of that. We trying to learn, but we're learning it on our own, but we not getting it because there's not the healthy conversation, the ugly place. That's my new thing. I'm gonna have to write that down. We gotta go to the ugly place, which is the healthy place.
That's what's the ugly place is the healthy place. Charleston, then Proto, what you got?
I got a question for Ash because you just said something that was like, wow, that resonated with me. When you said about her keeping the kids from him for a period to let him settle. It's not specifically about kids, but it's just that's wisdom. Can I ask you a personal question? I'm so sorry if are you married?
No, I just said I'm not married.
I didn't hear it. I'm so
sorry.
I'm sorry.
She's not ready. We've been molding her, you know what I'm saying, for the past year.
I was gonna ask her where did because part of my question is like, where do you feel like people get the wisdom for marriage? Do you feel like some of it comes before marriage, during marriage? Do you feel like people around the marriage? I was gonna get your perspective on that because you dropped some nuggets there. That was wow.
I'm gonna say it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Discover. It's everywhere you want to be. And a reason why I'm putting it like that is because everybody's view is not the same. Like I said, because if you don't have a healthy relationship, that's probably what you're going to lean towards because you're following that example. You're trying to build your life as the example you see. And if you only see a certain side of something and you're trying to get with somebody and they haven't seen what you've seen, it's kind of fighting each other. You end up fighting each other because I did it. Hey, whatever. I'm not too proud of myself. But that's what happens. It's like we get together with people that we actually do not take time to realize that their background is not the same. I think the new age term is trauma bonding. That's how we get them. We got the same trauma. We're going to work it out. But not understanding that same trauma did not play out for them how it played out for you. And that's why I say it's everywhere because I have my mom friends, her, my grandparents. And I really look up to my grandparents with their marriage because it was a partnership, but it's not this new age partnership. You get what I'm saying? This new age partnership is business wise. The old partnership was, hey, you handle this. I'm going out here get this money. We gonna be great. I'm not saying they didn't argue. Okay, I love to call and make the phone ring so my grandpa could say something. I did it on. I ain't gonna lie to you, but it was the fact that he gonna say something, she gonna say something, but everybody's good because this is an everyday thing. It's like it was the working mechanism. It's like the wheels, the gears. They're both turning. They both doing a separate thing, but they're working together. So that's why I say my wisdom comes from everybody because I try to learn from everybody, even my past relationships, because I'm not going to say I wasn't the corporate. I didn't call some stuff. I'm not going to say I didn't get up and walk away because it did. But it's like, to me, if you can learn from your mistakes and learn from what other people do in their relationship, you can apply that. That's what we don't understand. And that's one of the things I think we gatekeep the most is we can apply what we actually learn in our relationships from like jobs and stuff. Because what is it? What did Mr. Hines say? You can take a beautiful thing and make it ugly real quick. So it's like, even though I'm at work, that still can apply. Like, what is it? One of my other sayings is get the big picture, meaning don't get tunnel vision. You need to be looking everywhere. That still can apply with relationship. Don't get too focused on you. Still remember you got your whole household. You got others that depend on you. So, I mean, that's why I say it's like discover, baby. It's everywhere. If you want to be there. Because it's a will. What was it? It's not a skill. It's a will. And that's where we all get it construed, even me, it's not the skill that's really not there. It's the willpower. That's with everything. And a lot of us, we get to the relationship, we're not willing to go past what we did to get them. I know y'all all know that because y'all older than me. The same way you got them, the same way you lose them. You know, what you did to get them is what you do to keep them. You know, so at the end of the day, that's the way I look at it. Like, I guess you can say I have a wide scope. I don't mind, you know, learning from people because you never know. This may be something that Humble Dad does and his wife will be like, that might work out for me. But you never know until you try. And a lot of us don't try because we're so caught in that one way, that tunnel vision. I hope that answered your question because I am.
And this is why I be upset that the ladies don't be coming on here regularly to provide the wisdom that y'all saying that these people need. Proto, what you got?
I don't think people delay marriage. I think the people that want to get married, and the people that don't just have what is it that where they got too many options, and they don't know if they could always get better. You know what I'm saying? Or they always think they can upgrade or get better. I think those people they're not delaying marriage. They just get married when they see that their options are slim. You know what I'm saying? Like once they see they're not who they truly are, you know what I'm saying? Then they get married for whatever they can grab, you know what I'm saying? But they'll spend a whole lifetime getting abused, thinking that they can monkey branch up to something. And get abused by all those people that they're men and women. They'll get abused by, all those people they think they can monkey branch up to. Dudes spending their whole life trying to get baddies, and women spending their whole life trying to get somebody tall, dark, and handsome, or I'll be shorish, you know what I'm saying? And neither one of them want them, but you know what I'm saying? But they just spend too much time going chasing after the people that really don't even like them for real, until they realize like, oh, I am kind of like ugly, short, fat, whatever I might be. Let me just grab whatever I can grab. You know what I'm saying? Who's going to love me for me, which is something they should have been doing from the jump. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was talking to my mom yesterday, and she was telling me how she realized she's single because she did this one guy who was good to her so wrong. So if she feels like karma has left her single because she shouldn't have treated this guy the way she treated him because he was a good man or whatever. And I'm like, I told you that when I was 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, it's just one of those things where I just think people just spend too much time trying to monkey branch up, and they run out of time and realize like they couldn't never get what they thought they could get. You know what I'm saying? So
that's really good. Y'all are spitting for show without the music. And so I would say, if I could add, I would think I'm gonna take a different approach. I think people I think people are delaying marriage for the right reason. I think fear is a good reason to not get married, because if you are afraid of the work that is going to take to put into building someone else as well as building yourself, if you have a fear of being submissive to someone or providing for someone or having a provision for someone or making a sandwich for someone, if you have these fears of what is going to take place within a marriage, as if you have a crystal ball, then you are right in not wanting to get married and to delay that marriage. Because in a marriage, there are hills and valleys. And the hill is not a smooth one. There are valleys that are not necessarily smooth either, right? So there is a depiction of, like, I go back to how Christ and the church are, right? If you look at Hosea, listen, he was like, I gotta go get her. You see what's going on? Like, that was a worse situation. You talking about better for worse? Like, it was a worse situation. It kept getting bad, right? And so but it was a depiction of Christ coming after us on a regular basis. And so and for men, we value respect. And if we don't get it, go ahead, Proto, what you got?
Is that the one where he was like, if I'm supposed to take her, like, let the cloth be wet and the floor be dry,
No,
Or
no,
I need more signs if the cloth is dry, if the
that
floor is wet.
no, that was something else. This was where his wife was a
Was a
whore.
prostitute or
Yeah,
something like that, or was take. Oh, so he did. So that's not. I'm mixing stories.
yeah, but it's okay.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
okay, because I remember there was. I thought there was the same story like that. He was like, "Give me a sign, God," like 3 different times, like, "Give me a sign," or "Why me?" or something. Like he didn't want to do it.
I don't.
He didn't want to do it.
I don't think that was that one, but I if it is, I'm cool with being corrected. However, the depiction was how much Christ loved us. Like that takes a lot to forgive a person. Then when it goes to the Old Testament, when it talks about forgiveness is 7 times 70, and that's within the day, right? So you're having to forgive someone who has hurt your ego, someone that has disrespected you, someone that uh, doesn't seem to be on the same page, and that's not that there may be levels of or days and weeks and months that may happen. And as Ash said, there's not a lot of people that have the stick to itiveness. They don't have the resilience when it comes to other people. Like they have the grace for themselves of when they make a mistake and they want people to say understand their plight, me included, right? I'm not speaking something that I'm not talking about by myself, but it's easier at some time to live with yourself than it is to have to bring someone else into what it is that you have. But I believe if you could get over the fear of that, the marriage that you are designed to have, if God puts you in a place to be married, that the marriage is going to show you the places that you need to be working on. You know what I'm saying? Because you by yourself, you don't know what you need to work on because you're not having to identify those blind spots. For me, it's about how I communicate with people. How I talk to my wife. How do I, hear her through the words that she's saying? Because sometimes women don't really say exactly what they mean. You know what I'm saying? Like Ash. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily say everything that you mean. There's some points and times where men have to kind of look beyond what it is that they're saying, right? Even in the midst of when they're upset. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe that's just me. So, but nevertheless, I think that people don't get married for the right reasons. And fear is a good reason not to get married because you're just going to bring that fear into a marriage and destroy that marriage. That's my thought process. What y'all got?
But my thing is, okay, what's the purpose then? You just need to operate as a single. And the reason why I say that is because you're saying the fear is what's keeping them grounded and not married. But the thing is, it's the unknown, it's the uncharted territory. You can't say everybody's the same. Like I could sit here, you know how they do. I'm saying they because I'm not in part of the group. All men is just alike. They're they out there homongling and stuff, and they just want to abuse you and this that and that. Don't sit here and act like I'm the only one that heard this. Now I know I ain't the only one that heard this.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's like at the end of the day, you can't let fear keep you from something that ultimately may be good for you. Because like Prototype said, his mom is sitting over there in a place of regret now. You get what I'm saying? It's like there must have been some type of level of fear that made her choose the actions that she did. Because I can identify with what she's saying. Because if you feel like somebody was right for you, like, dang, I chose to be unhappy with Dodo Bird over here, and I could have been over there looking at a swan. But you're not ready for the ugly duckling to actually be the swan because you think you got something good over there. It's just I don't know, because to me I would say the thing is you need to work on what causing you to be in fear. Because I would say that fear keeps us in a place of misery, because then you get to looking at, because we got social media, we got people business or what we think that's going on in a relationship in a house that keeps you mad, looking at pictures, scrolling and not liking because they out on vacation again, or they done bought something new, or it's a they thing because husband, wives, But it's, to me, I would say you need to lose the fear. Let that insecurity go, because if you're gonna love somebody, you need to love somebody. Because you got to remember, the same people that you're saying that are being single is the same people raising these bad kids I got to deal with now on my bus.
Dang.
It's the same women. You know what I'm saying? You can't find a husband. It's like the rhetoric needs to stop. You need to really be honest with yourself to say where you're going with this, because you can't say all men are bad and you got a son. What are you telling him? You know what I'm saying? What fear are you putting in him? And then that's another thing. You have to watch it, because fear, just like her traits and all that DNA, is still passed down. Fear is passed down to generations. And that's what we've done. We have created this generation that is fear of being responsible, fear of being married. And I don't understand why. But if you go back and listen to some of these older women that have been done wrong, that stay past their due time. Remember, I always say they stay past their time and they become bitter. Like them apples, all the good fruit, you go buy them and then all of a sudden they go bad because you didn't eat them right then and there. That's what happens. And then these, you gotta remember, these are the same people that's got kids. Now they got grandkids. That's why you got so many independent women running around here with all these doggone degrees and accolades, but not understanding she's alone because you chose degrees and accolades because of somebody else didn't choose degrees and accolades, and they were operating out of a place of hurt instead of taking time and getting healed for that. You know, we all heard that. Every little black girl, I'm pretty sure, done heard men ain't nothing, go to school, get your degree. But the thing is, you're preaching that to black girls, but yet what are you preaching to the sons? I'm pretty sure y'all didn't hear that. Go to school, man. Don't mess with these women. And y'all didn't hear that. Y'all didn't hear that conversation. You didn't hear that. But my thing is,
I did.
You shut up, Prototype. You ain't heard nothing. You don't do that.
Why you say I didn't hear it? I heard
You
it.
ain't hear it.
Leave them
So you
girls
was supposed to
alone.
go
Ain't
get a
nothing but
degree.
trouble.
Well, some of them may hear it, but the majority. But it wasn't I would say it wasn't preached like it is amongst black girls, though, to go get a degree. But then you tell them don't mess with the boys. But at the end of the day, hey, you going to college. The boys looking nice on the football field, the basketball field. The muscles start getting your eyes. You know, you get a little twinkle in your eye. They don't tell you about that part. You know, that's why I say I don't really take my trauma and put it on my kids, because first of all, y'all wasn't there. It doesn't matter what happened between me and your dad, because it's none of your business, really. Because I don't want you to take my personal experience and make that your parameter of your relationship. Because I tell them all the time, you can find somebody to love you. I said, me, I'm hard-headed, I'm stubborn, and I don't want to do certain things. When I don't want to do it, I ain't gonna do it. Like today, I came home, I was supposed to cook. I ain't cooked nothing. I left them hot dogs out there, came up here and went to sleep because I was tired, you know? And that's just the thing. Who wants to deal with somebody bipolar
It would
like
be
that?
different if it was your man, though. Stop. It would have been different.
Look here. The way that 46 be working on me, and that's why I say I hate that I'm in this class right now. I wish I would have took something easier, because
your man would have been like, "Listen, I got you, babe."
see, that's different. Now you say that. Now you come in here with a good old cheeseburger from Whataburger.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's different.
Like we trying to help you out, Ash. We trying to
Here
get
you
you
go.
ready.
Here you go. These kids don't expect it, because you know when I went downstairs after I took my nap, that youngest one came downstairs and said, "So, you ain't about to lose pods? So you ain't cook nothing?" So
that means you're a good mom.
I still get mad with.
That means you're faithful and you've built an expectation with them. Look at that.
That's what they expect. Anytime they see that, they know I'm finna cook. But not to.
You know, one thing I wanted to add to the conversation real quick, definitely in response to Ash, because she was saying, like, do men get people pushing them and prodding them in positive directions around marriage? And I would say emphatically yes. You know, you get both sides, but you do get some positive examples. I would say, and you know what's kind of funny is that I really like that Prototype's podcast is named Prototype, because I'm of the humble opinion that men need role models. We need people that we can pattern our lives after. And I feel like if a young man sees a man that he admires for whatever reason, maybe it's because he's successful, you know, business wise, or maybe he just dresses, you know, in a way that's, you know, fly, whatever it is, that tends to attract that young man, and then he opens up to that guy, and if that guy is portraying to him an image of a healthy marriage, that will draw him to the idea of marriage. That will draw him to it, like if it's somebody that he admires and that he looks up to. Now, I think it's more than just having an admiration. I think somebody needs to sit down and have some real conversations with him, you know, in order to shape his understanding of like what it means to be sacrificial, what it means to be a provider, what it means to be, you know, a humble dad or a prototype dad or anything like that. You know, I definitely think to take somebody who's going to sit down and talk with them. But I think that they do exist, you know, like I would be remiss if I didn't say my dad was that for me, you know, and I didn't learn all the lessons right that my dad showed me, you know, but my parents have been married for over 50 years, excuse me. And most of the examples that my dad demonstrated, he just demonstrated by doing. You know, I saw my dad go to work every day for 27 years in corporate America. I saw my dad come home to his wife, you know, every day. My mom, you know, I tease her. She lived a very charmed life. You know what I'm saying? My mom didn't have to work. I don't know any woman that does that these days. But I saw. There you go. Your wife doesn't work.
She does, but because she's bored.
Which is even better, right?
You know, that's how it was for me at first too, Charleston.
We'll see. You know what I'm saying? We got the prototype and we got the humble dad just putting us all to shame, man. That's not very humble of you, man. So
but
yeah.
Remember you said your lifestyle required it. See, that's a requirement. That's an understanding. See, I wish I could not work for. You know what? That wouldn't even work with my nature. Never mind. I ain't gonna sit here lie.
You know what though? Can I say this real quick, Ash? Because I gotta temper that. Because whenever I tell people like my mom didn't work, please understand. So my dad worked in corporate America, which means my mom did his laundry for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wore a suit every day to work, and she ironed his clothes. My mom cooked 2 or 3 times a day as children. She drove us back and forth to school and all that stuff. All of our it's like. She was a humble mother. She was a humble wife. She did a lot of stuff today that I think, and this is just me speculating, you know what I'm saying? I don't know that a lot of women would sign up for it, you know, it's kind of challenging. I feel like that's
yes,
kind of the
dicey
conversation.
Say it again? You don't let them fool you. They'll all sign up for it.
They all sign it. Yeah.
They'll all sign up for it. Don't let them fool you.
I would say 90%
I'll be like,
90% of them want that.
I would say 93.
We may want, but the thing is the doing.
That's my part. That's you want the idea of being at home. I'm saying, are they going to do it? Prototype. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, it depends. I guess it depends on who you are, and you know, if you're rock to them, right? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, come on, Bob.
You know what I'm saying? So
talk good. Talk, man.
If you're rock, yeah, they gonna do it. If you ain't rock, then no, they ain't gonna do it.
I love
Women
it.
do stuff for men they want to do stuff for. Ain't that how it goes? Same thing with men, right? Hey, I was gonna hit you with this last question, but unless y'all cool with this last question.
I didn't know if Lost was gonna throw something out there, man. He was being real patient over there, but that's all good.
But I wanted to, because you was already transitioning to this question. That's why I put it up there about the mentorship. So I was going to transition to this last question, which is how can single people and married couples support each other? And it doesn't have to be within the church, but how can they support each other? Because based upon what you said and what Ash said, there's not a lot of seeing of what it is that there's not a lot of seeing good marriages or even seeing a marriage function in a way that is going to be healthy, as well as sometimes, you know, marriages need to be able to see also how grateful they should be to be with somebody, because people that are single don't always like being single. So you can kind of learn from one another. Lost, what you got?
You know, when we were in school, man, we had this little thing that we had called show and tell. Okay. And what you would do is you'll bring something to school and you show everybody else, and then you'll tell about it. Well, here's the problem that we have in the church. We have way more show and not enough tell. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to show somebody what a marriage looks like. You don't have enough people breaking down how to marriage. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that we don't really talk about. We don't teach people from a biblical standpoint and how it applies to them practically today. I'll give you an example. Like today, we watched the video of Rock and his wife. Well, I don't know if y'all paid attention to this or not, but there was this little small ingredient that we all missed. And it was the fact that Rock's wife was appreciative of where she was right then and there. And I think a lot of times in marriages, we don't always think that our spouse appreciates us. It's one thing for you to meet somebody and they're already together, but it's another thing for you to go through what they went through, and then you can appreciate who that person is because you actually saw what went into making of that person. I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, if you and your wife decided you wanted to change the color of one of your rooms, okay? And then one day, all of a sudden, the husband came, he painted the room, and it was over. She just stood there. Oh, that looks nice. Well, what would have happened if the wife would have picked up a brush too, and they were in there and painting at the same time, and then all of a sudden, they got the color wrong. Uh-oh, we got to go back to the store and get the right color, or this doesn't match what we thought it would match. See, it's those things that we learn about each other through adversity that allows us to appreciate that person that we're with. And I think that is a lot of what we're missing. We're waiting on other people to get their lives right instead of appreciating what went into making of that person and the struggles that person goes through. You don't know what you're dealing with until you've actually had to get knocked down and get back up. I'll give you another example. Say, for instance, you're in your car and you're driving, you're having one of those days that all of a sudden somebody hits you and now your car's all banged up. And now you got to call the insurance company and say, hey, look, I was in an accident. And then on your way to work, you was like, I can still drive it. Then you mess around and you hit a pothole. And then now you got to change the tire. So now you changing the tire on your busted car. Now all of a sudden you put the tire back on and then it starts raining. You see what I'm saying? All of a sudden it's rain on you again. And then after that, you get back and you get everything together. You put the tire back on and then you get back in the car and your car catch on fire. You see what I'm saying? Then all of a sudden you was like, man, what kind of day is this? So he was like, you know what? I'm gonna call a tow truck. They're gonna come pick my car up and I'm gonna get on the bus. And you run into Ashley. And all of a sudden the bus breaks down. And now you're gonna be an hour late for work. You know what I mean? A lot of times people like to call that a bad day. Well, we don't call it a bad day. We call that a character building day. Now imagine if somebody was with you and they saw you go through all of that. They would appreciate the person that you are because you persevered no matter what. And I think a lot of times we miss the appreciation of who people are when they go through the things that they go through. And then we miss the very important part that actually makes that person who they are. So you don't really you're not really able to choose the person that you need to choose until you actually see what that person goes through. It's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get back up. You see what I'm saying? So as long as you fall down and you can see it up, you can get up. And I think a lot of times when we choose our spouses, I think a lot of times we need to take time out to look and think what went into making that person, And I think that's the main reason why we need to have more telling in these conversations with singles and married people and start telling them, hey, look, there are going to be days where your car is going to catch on fire and it's going to rain on you and you're going to have to catch the bus. You see what I'm saying? And those are the things that you're going to have to go through. And then they may not understand it until they actually start going through it. And then when they start going through it, they'll have something to draw from it. And they'll be like, you know what? I remember when Charles was telling me I was going to have one of those character building days. So you know what? Today is not going to be that bad. I just know today going to be one of them days. And all I have to do is just keep going. That's the main reason why we need to have more tell in church than show. Because think about it, everybody can interpret whatever they want to interpret when you just show. But the minute you start adding the context to the tale, I think that actually gives people more wisdom in what they're going through so they'll know how to navigate it. It's one thing to tell people how to do something. It's completely different when you arm them with the knowledge and wisdom they need to carry them through those particular days.
Man, that was fire. That was really good. The show and the
Show's
tell
over.
picture. Yeah. The show and the tell picture was phenomenal. I got it. Like your soliloquy just solidified what the Holy Spirit was talking to me about, what to put together. And so as you were talking, the different pieces were falling into place. Before we got on this show, I was already thinking about this event that I need to put together. And so I'm gonna steal that title though, right? I'm gonna steal that title, show and tell. So I'm gonna have to invite y'all out when I put it together for sure. But this has been a phenomenal show. Does anybody want to say something before we go? Because the mic has been ripped out the wall. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
I
what
guess
you
I
got?
can add a little something to what Lost Translation was saying. I agree with that. Because like I was saying earlier, people gatekeep their secrets about being married, and you only wanted to display the good times and not the bad times. So like I said, every day, like he said, is a character building day. And like he said, with me driving a bus, it is a character building day because like you said, we break down. Baby, I done been about to get started and had to pull over to the side of the freeway. Why? Because the bus started leaking or something. At my job description, just pull it over, get it off the freeway, and let everybody else go on about their day. And that's the one thing that I've noticed is that when people are married, they don't understand how to leave certain problems out of everybody else's way. It's like I need to find somebody that validates why I'm right in this situation instead of trying to find somebody and talk to somebody to say, hey, don't have a biased opinion. Don't go off what I'm saying. I'm just venting right now. And I think that's why people get it misconstrued and think that all single people and married people business, we giving bad advice. Me, no, because sometimes you just want somebody to listen to you. Sometimes you need to hear something out loud to get a proper understanding, and you can come to the conclusion whether you were wrong or not. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I say there needs to be more conversation, especially with dealing with church folks, because it's like, oh, those are sinners over there. We don't talk to them. Well, ain't those supposed to be the same people that y'all supposed to be bringing inside and getting them out the sin? I just got, I'm not a faithful goer. It's been a while. I'm just saying. Ain't you supposed to be in the streets, bringing the church to the streets so therefore you can have the church on the inside of the building? That's the whole purpose of the building, right? But at the same time, you want to look down on Keisha because she got 50 baby daddies and these children need to be wrangled. But at the same time, you're not helping her wrangle. You don't understand her term. Not understanding that you need to get on her level and say, hey, it's okay. We forgive. No. Because there's something in her she needs to forgive. There's something in her she needs to find. But if you're not coming at her in that with the manner and the tone, you're just coming with judgment. Who wants your help? Because that's a lot of times why the younger generation ain't in the church, because the church has gotten a bad light, because it's like the choir gonna know your business, or the pastor gonna tell you business, Sister Shirley, because him and Sister Shirley having a little pillow talking they not supposed to, or Sister Johnson up there sitting with Brother Mike in the back, when she over there talking about her light need to be fixed. You get what I'm saying? It's like if we have more productive conversation and learn how to zip the conversation, let that conversation stay here and not go further than here, I think we can really bring it back, circle it back to where we can actually build a healthy communication between singles and married people. Because sometimes you just want to know, like, okay, what is like being married, But if you always give me a negative outlook, it's like, yeah, that builds that plays into that fear. Like, let's have the conversation. Let's have a healthy conversation, not your bad days, your negative character building days where you didn't get your way. Because a lot of this come from, oh, I didn't get my way, so let me just tell and vent about this negativity. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got. I'm done.
That's what's up. Anybody got something to say before we get out? Hey, well, make sure y'all check out Everybody's Got Something to Say. Do every platform. Ashes on Instagram. I think she's studying, and what I'm saying. She's showing people study sessions and bus lessons and things of that nature. Prototype has his podcast on Tuesday nights. whether it's live or recorded, you should go check it out because they be having some really healthy dialogue about how men need to be operating. Then Charleston has his Bible study. What's the name of it, Charleston? What's the name of your podcast?
It's called Just Teach Ministries.
Just Teach Ministries. Check him out. Going through the scriptures. Hey, Lost, are you still doing your thing? I know you was on hiatus for a moment, so just type in. Okay,
I had to wait till I get my voice back, man. It's when you start doing God's work, that's when the devil shows up and wants to take stuff away from you. So I'm getting back to where I need to be, even though I ain't 100%. I'll give what I got.
Well, we appreciate you giving us what you got. Y'all all made it a wonderful show. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, we out here. Deuces.
The boy is dangerous.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see them about to impact the world.